21, 25 to 28, and 34 to 36, the gospel reading for the first Sunday in Advent of 2024, Jesus informs his disciples about what will be. The sad thing is that what will be already has been and is now. We have seen in the past, and we see today multiple nations in disarray. We see today the roaring of the sea and the waves and the hurricanes and typhoons and floods coming with increasing frequency and doing increasing damage. We see people dying not only of fright, but of bombs and gunfire, of heart disease and cancer. In the midst of suffering, ecological, military, bodily, what do we do? Jesus' call is that we don't turn away from responsibilities to carousing and drunkenness. And that's good advice. My mother would agree. But simply telling us to avoid parties and bars is not sufficient. The good news here is that Jesus provides instruction on what we should be doing. And here are 5 suggestions of many. First, Luke's Gospel and the companion volume Acts promotes not the end of the world, but the growth of the way. Therefore, followers of Jesus are to be, as Jesus says, vigilant always. And this means finding places to help the planet and its people. When we see destruction, we do not run from the damage, we run toward the people who are hurt. Second, we have a lot of apocalyptic literature in antiquity, both in the canon, including the last several chapters of the book of Daniel and the entire book of Revelation, and in non-canonical texts such as 1st and 2nd Enoch, 2nd Baruch, and 4th Ezra. People then knew that the books were not to be taken literally. They are designed rather like parables, and that they help us imagine a different world. If we can imagine destruction and death, and then imagine ourselves on the other side, we are better prepared when the storm, the attack, or the disease strikes. And we are better prepared because we know that death is not the end of the story. Third, apocalyptic texts help us to picture God arriving to bring justice to an unjust world. God makes it very clear that vengeance is the propriety of heaven, not of human beings. We do not have to imagine ourselves taking up arms in order to wreak vengeance on our enemies. Fourth, today's reading of Jeremiah 33, 14 to 16 offers a less devastating, but just as important image of divine justice. Jeremiah assures us that the promises God made to the house of Israel and Judah, that is, promises to the Jewish people, will be fulfilled. Judah, later called Judea, and after the year 135 CE, called by the Romans Syria Palestina, shall be safe, and Jerusalem shall be known for justice. Prophecy and apocalyptic literature both help us picture possibilities. Jeremiah offers the possibility of peace between Israel and the Palestinians. Perhaps we human beings, seeing all the warning signs, can start being more vigilant, less in terms of watching for drones or snipers, missiles or bombs, and more in terms of working for the peace Judaism, Christianity, and Islam all seek. And finally, with all this talk of heavenly portents, we can also remember that the major sign of Advent is not the shaking of the heavens, but a baby wrapped in bands of cloth and lying in a manger. And so we can choose what sign speaks to us, and we can choose what to do when we see it.